Hey everybody, this is Scott from Dicey Decisions. I'm here today, gonna be creating a campaign frame using the homebrew guide that is put out by Darrington Press for Daggerheart. So I've been really excited about this campaign frame concept, and I think I want to do a pirate themed campaign in the future. So I figured I'd take my shot at walking through the campaign frame of uh, of campaign frame creation document, and kind of just walk through it and start to put together some stuff. So you see here on the screen, I've got I just copied the version out of the homebrew kit that they gave you. You can download that on the Darrington Press website, and it's pretty extensive. There's a lot of information that you can put into these, although the complexity of them can vary based on how much you want to include in your campaign frame. Preliminary ideas I have rolling around in my head. There's some basic stuff I want to include, and then there's some stuff that I might choose to make it a little more complex and move forward in a bigger way. So the complexity is going to be kind of fluid for a little bit. So it says here, campaign frames are a lightweight approach to campaign creation designed to be used collaboratively between GM and players. They're often not exhaustive, but rather made to be a scaffolding or springboard for campaigns with specific subgenres. So I don't need that in the document. So now that I've read it, I'm going to delete it just to clean this document up. And title. The name of the campaign frame should be short and punchy, often highlighting an interest or unique aspect of the campaign. So, given that, I think, maybe something along the lines of, let's see, maybe Terror on the High Seas. We'll start with that for now. Might want to go back in and tweak that to make it feel more piratey specific, but for now we'll call it Terror on the High Seas. All right, let's see. Concept. The concept is an evocative one-sentence description of the big idea that defines the campaign frame and should quickly convey what the campaign frame is about. One sentence. Okay. High seas adventure with maybe with grand scratching that all, starting over. Daring deeds. Let's see. Daring deeds. High stakes. And of course, petty theft abound in this daring deeds. This would help if I could spell. Daring deeds, high stakes, and of course petty theft abound in this pirate themed let me read one of theirs from the book. Let's see, what does one of theirs say? Let's go to one of the easy ones. When an invading nation attacks an ancient forest deity, a virulent overgrowth spreads throughout the land. It's the Wither Wild from the core rulebook. Daring deeds, high stakes, and of course petty theft abound in this pirate, in this region of the high seas, infested with monsters, mayhem, and piracy. Maybe that'll work. We'll start with that. All right. Complexity rating. Let's see. In the chat, part of Jim says, if Justin doesn't have to walk the plank at one point, I'm rioting. And that is the entire goal of the campaign frame. So Justin is one of our regular players in our Friday night Twist of Fate campaign, and this is a friend of his that is ribbing, making sure that we're going to make him walk the plank. I think that's important. I think walking the plank is a big part of the game, and actually that's actually a great idea to add to the campaign frame. Maybe there's something involved with a mechanic for walking the plank, and how maybe it's if you do get caught X number of times, you are forced to walk the plank, and then there's some, an encounter based on walking the plank or something. We'll see when we get there, but I think that's a great idea. All right, complexity rating. The complexity rating gives a relative indication of how many unique mechanics the campaign frame involves, how complex those mechanics are, and how much homebrewing is expected of GMs running the campaign frame. The complexity score in the core rulebook ranges from 1 to 4. I know that from reading the book. You can decide on your complexity rating early in the process of creating your campaign frame to help guide your design, or you can create the campaign frame as you envision it and then assess the complexity at the end. I think that's the smarter plan, because this could get real complex, or it could just stay pretty simple and just be a lot of flavor and what have you. So I will leave a spot for that complexity rating there, and we will come back to it. And I will actually make myself a note. Pick after design is finished. I specifically made my camera angle so you couldn't see my keyboard. Yes, I hunt and peck. I am not good at typing, so I'll be making lots of mistakes, but that's why I use, a program like Word that can catch my mistakes for me. All right, let's see. The one paragraph pitch describes what's exciting and appealing about the campaign frame. This should include information about the tone, setting, and emotional promise of the campaign. The GM should be able to read your paragraph to the players to pitch the campaign frame to them. Don't include any secrets you don't want them to know. All right, so we won't talk specifically about bad guys here, or anything like that, or any of the specific challenges. But players will get to explore piracy on the high seas, they will be rewarded. They will be rewarded for their daring escapades and willingness to push themselves to the limit in search of treasures, and renown. Players will get to explore piracy on the high seas. They will be rewarded for their daring escapades and willingness to push themselves to the limit in search of treasure and renown. The players will form a pirate crew exploring the surrounding seas and islands rich with treasure and adventure. All right, we'll continue with that. Might come back and visit that a little bit more as we make some choices further down the line. The nice thing about putting something like this together, I think, is that you can always kind of come up with the next idea that they give on the campaign frame list, and then it might inform how you might pitch it, right? So you can always go back and kind of work through it all and see what you come up with. I'm excited for this concept in the game, and eventually I will probably take this campaign frame before I finish it and find my table of players and kind of work through some of the choices with them so that we would actually be collaborating on this together. So I think it would be exciting to see what we could come up with. All right, tone and feel. These tonal descriptions outline the emotional landscape of the campaign frame. Is it grim or bright, comedic or dramatic, romantic or misanthropic? Sometimes contrasting tones can be effective, but it shouldn't be hard to understand how a campaign frame's tone fit together so the GM and their table can decide if the campaign frame is the right fit for them. All right, so let's see. Going back to that first one, The Wither Wild, here in the book. And let's see, just kind of examples of what they did for tone and feel. Adventurous, dynamic, epic, heroic, thrilling, uncanny, whimsical. All right. Let's see. I think dangerous, epic are good ones. Swashbuckling, if that's a tone or a feel, maybe. Dangerous, epic, swashbuckling. I think also I think horror would fit, because if you think of Pirates of the Caribbean movies, which I'm kind of modeling some of this after, you've got the horror element of that, and I think that's important. Dangerous, epic, swashbuckling, horror, but I think comedic can be in there, and I might reorder these later to decide that they're going to be, either alphabetical just for simplicity's sake, or put certain ones before the others because they, dangerous, epic, swashbuckling, horror, comedic, high stakes. And I want to find a word for the piracy aspect of it, like the, you know, trying to, well, all the pirates always want to be the most renowned pirate or have the most treasure that they have found. Let's see. Make myself a note. What tone or feel captures piracy best? I'll think on that. I mean, swashbuckling kind of covers some of the fighting side of it. But I don't want to. Larcenous, maybe? I'll put larcenous. Kind of feels like a modern word, but who knows? Put a question mark there. All right, and again, like I said, I'm going to probably be going through this with my players, so I might leave these questions until I have that with them. Let's say likely a 1 or 2 complexity. I'm going to do myself a favor and highlight some things I want to address. Finding it later. Okay, themes. A campaign's major themes represent what a campaign is about and what topics might show up during play. Themes can be broad or more specific depending on the campaign's needs. You can also think about themes as prompts a GM can ask to their players and the answers they might uncover through play. For example, a theme of family versus independence could generate a dramatic personal question for the characters. Can you be both loyal to your family and true to yourself? All right, so I'm gonna read the theme here. The theme for the Wither Wild is cultural clash, ends justify the means, grief, people versus nature, transformation and change, survival. All right, so that gives me some ideas here. So I'm going to actually put something here that I'm concerned about, just so that I can start thinking about it and have it on paper to be thinking about. I want there to be a level of competitive larceny going on, competitive piracy, without it devolving into PvP, you know, big, I kill him and take his loot. I'm not looking for there to be maybe I say, you know, pirate rivalry. And pirate code, because I think that's important. Pirate rivalry, pirate code. Let's see other themes. Let's see. I definitely think or people versus nature. Let's see. I think the strange creatures. voodoo-like powers. Pirate rivalry, pirate code, people versus nature, strange creatures, voodoo-like powers. I mean, stealing. Put a few more there, maybe in talking with folks about what themes they want to explore. But those are a good start for the feel of this. Touchstones are a list of your sources of inspiration when creating the campaign frame, which GM can refer to when pitching or playing it. Touchstones can include media. This is where they list basically the things that have inspired this game. It will be no surprise that I list Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I knew I would spell Caribbean wrong. Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I kind of want there to be enough whimsy in this, so maybe even Muppet Treasure Island. And that I just said whimsy, tone and feel, comedic, maybe whimsical. And I pasting that to the front just because I want the larceny to be a Muppet Treasure Island. I was looking at movies earlier. I guess if I'm going to get into ship combat, which I likely will, you know, maybe even Master and Commander. And then as far as like, you know, maybe books, Treasure Island, which was also a movie. And then as far as games go, one of the things I was reading and looking at things are Pirate Board, which is a game that was an add-on to Morkborg. So if any of you have ever played this, I was taking some inspiration from this in terms of looking at, you know, ship combat rules and things like that that might come up. So I'm going to keep this on the desk, but I'll put that in there too. All right, I think that's enough touchstones for now. The overview. The overview is a longer description of the campaign frame, typically no longer than a page or a page and a half, that covers the major elements of the campaign and what players can expect from it. This should be more comprehensive than the pitch paragraph, but not exhaustive. It's a high-level description that players will read to get a bit more information about the world and what the story is about. Because the overview is player-facing, it also shouldn't include secrets that you don't want the players to know. All right, so I'm going to hold off on this for now and kind of wait until I figure out some more mechanics to then come back and build the overview. I'm just going to say do after mechanics and highlight that. And dash up to 1 page. And here is where, I might name the region of the ocean that they're in and, talk about maybe some of the existing powers that be in the region, and that kind of thing. But I kind of want to build the mechanics of what we're going to be doing or trying to do with this campaign frame that's different than just playing on pirate ships, that actually involves the mechanics of the game, and then come back and make that all work within the overview. And that may change the tone and feel and complexity rating as well. So maybe we'll see. Not sure about what's gonna work or not. All right. So heritage and classes. Campaign frames have sections on communities, ancestries, and classes, providing information about how elements of heritage or character classes might work differently in this campaign frame, or in some cases which options are not available and the reasons why. These sections often provide additional background prompts for characters of those heritages or classes to help more firmly connect them to the setting. All right. So, sounds like I need to make a communities, ancestries, and classes choice on this. So under communities, and I'm using some of the wording that they use for this. All communities are available for but some have unique aspects within a Terror on the High Seas campaign. As needed, provide the following information to your players and choose one or more of the questions to ask them at your session. Zero. And there's going to be a similar, first let me do this. In case I change that name, I'm going to highlight it to come back. I'm going to copy that all. Going to put it here. And put it here. I don't believe I plan to change any. I don't believe I'm going to limit anything, so I'm going to say all are available. And I'm not sure I'm going to mess with making any classes have anything different about them, but then I'm going to take a look at all the classes before I say that. I might talk about how maybe the magic of this world is tied to, yeah, the powers of the seas or ancient eldritch sea beings or what have you. So there might be something that affects classes in the flavor, but I definitely don't think I plan on changing any mechanics for them. Anyway, I'm definitely going to be doing some of this for communities and ancestries. So I wonder if it makes sense to take like an ancestry feature and offer an alternative one to that, because I don't want to give out extra things, because then everybody's going to want to play the same one that gets something extra, but to maybe give a I don't know. Well, we'll start with communities. It's page 72 in the book. I don't think anything different for Highborn or Loreborn. You have advantage on roles that involve the history, culture, and politics of a prominent person or place. That would fit if you're Loreborn. You just know a lot about the pirates of the region. Orderborn makes sense. Ridgeborn. There will be ridges, so that makes sense. Seaborn is the one that obviously comes to mind as something that would possibly have something different, although I think the Seaborn being in a coastal region kind of guarantees your abilities are going to come into and to say you can sense the ebb and flow of life. When you roll with fear, place a token on your community card. You can hold a number of tokens equal to your level. Before you make an action roll, you can spend any number of these tokens to gain a +1 bonus on the roll for each token spent. At the end of each session, clear the unspent tokens. That feels kind of very piratey already. I might say that Seaborn, maybe this will come up. So let's do that. Let's go and go Seaborn. And again, I'm just going to make a note for now. Think about adding a mechanic for think about adding a mechanic for naval combat that Seaborn have a boon with of some kind of makes sense to me. They would be around ships more. I'm going to highlight this whole thing because I'll have to come back when I make that mechanic. As far as ancestries go, checking the other Slyborn. Oh, that's got a good pirate one. So if we're going to do a Seaborn one, maybe we do a pirate one. That makes sense. Slyborn, and then think about a mechanic or let's word it as adding an advantage to the mechanics and then think about, I'm going to copy that. I'm a big fan of copy paste because I hunt and peck. Think about adding an advantage to the mechanics for naval combat that Seaborn have a boon with of some kind, and then to the mechanics for piracy. That's Slyborn. So again, might have to go down the list and build those mechanics into this campaign frame and then come back and decide if that's appropriate or not. But I could easily see in the feel of this those two having advantages. Wanderborn, Wildborn, those have some stuff. But I think I'm good with just the two having. If I feel I need more, maybe I should just do. Oops. I just turned my own music off for myself. Hope that music is not too disruptive for you all. I thought I'd give you something to listen to while I was silent and thinking. Maybe you're not even hearing it. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I think I'm sending music to you. All right, so maybe I'll put Wanderborn caps lock. Wanderborn and Wildborn. And just some, if I feel like I want more, right? What I don't want to do is create a mechanic that is so powerful that everyone plays Seaborn or Slyborn characters. I know it's a pirate campaign. I know those are typical, typical communities that they might do, but we're going to have something here too with ancestries because obviously ones that are good in water are going to come up as being super exciting for... Ooh, I just thought of a really cool one coming up. All right. All right, ancestries, unique aspects. I think the first one I want to touch on for sure, or that I know I want to touch on, is the fun girl. So, in addition to having the fun girl be of the mushroom variety, they also have connection to barnacles on ships. And can use their fun girl network ability to communicate with barnacles as well as mushrooms. I'm reminded of the one guy in one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies that is basically almost been taken over by barnacles. And I think a barnacle person makes sense. And appearance as such. All fun grill can use their fun grill network ability to communicate with barnacles as well as mushrooms. I kind of want to make a flavor this might just be a flavor thing, but I don't know, Galapagos. And I'm just going to make a note. Think about making them have a strong tie to the magic of the world, question mark, or maybe they are considered lucky or something. I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to also highlight the Fun Girl just because we might have to come back and adjust it based on other mechanics. Giants, Goblin, Halfling, Human, Infernus, Katari, Orc, Ribbit are amphibious. They're just going to be likely Simia. Yeah, I think we're good. For now, I'm also only doing core book. I will eventually look at the stuff that's on The Void, which is Daggerheart, or the Darrington Press place for playtest material, which I do allow in my Daggerheart games. So I will go through and include all of those as well. And obviously I'll update this if official documentation comes out from Darrington Press. Let's see. I think that's it for the ancestries. Let's see. All right. Classes. Let's look at the classes in the core book. Ones that might have do you do none? Do you do them all? Like, there's almost things that could fit almost every class to make the classes feel more piratey. I don't want to come up with a pirate class. Like, I don't want to do that for this game because I want people to play different classes and come up with their own way to make them piratey. But I wonder if, like, it's worth diving into some of the core features of the classes and seeing if we can reword some things. I think that feels almost too unnecessarily heavy-handed for the DM to do, and I think maybe it's better if the players do it, but I'm not sure. I'm going to leave that. I think I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to go question mark, question mark, question mark on that for now. I don't know. I'm going to zip something across my screen here real quick so I can put it where I can see it a little bit better. Obviously, if anybody's watching and has an idea for any specifics on this, feel free to chime in. I am looking at the chat from time to time. I'm definitely not going to take anything away, but obviously things like, aquatic animals, being more involved with the ranger and druid, again, how magic works might affect druids and seraphs and wizards and that kind of thing if I wanted to get into something like that. So that's why I think I'm going to leave it question marking right now. There's not a lot of, I don't know. I guess I don't have enough playtime with Daggerheart yet to know if I want to mess with the actual classes. But I also want the flavor to be there. But I think that can come with the players. And if I'm not making a big enough change, I don't think I want to do that. And I think I can handle the flavor changes in like the touchstones, the themes, the tone and feel, the overview when I get to it, and then let the players flavor their characters on their own. So I will just leave that as question marks, and I might just take out the um, entirety of that section. So I'm going to highlight all of it. There we go. Player principles. Just as Daggerheart has player principles, each campaign frame has thematic guides for players to keep in mind during the campaign. Following these principles helps players stay in the ideal mindset to enjoy the campaign frame when creating these. When creating these, ensure they are evocative, specific, and actionable by the players. Okay, again, Witherwild as an example. I think coming up with 3 player principles makes sense. And I think the first one at your character's core, they are a pirate. Consider how a life of piracy excites them and fulfills them. Consider how a life of piracy excites and fulfills them. Lean into the pirate lifestyle in your character's actions as well as in flavoring your character's powers and abilities. Yeah, I like that. So I'm going to bold that. Remember that pirates can still Remember that piracy need not be evil or good. Or maybe... I like that. Okay, at your character's core, they are pirates. Consider how a life of piracy excites and fulfills them. Lean into the pirate lifestyle in your character's actions as well as in flavoring your character's powers and abilities. Remember that piracy need not be evil. Piracy needs not be evil or good per se. But you should always have a hint of self-service and self-preservation in your actions. Second player principle. I want to put something in here about maybe the sea being a sense of wonder and all right, I'm not going to title it yet. So I think I'm trying to make a title of what I want to say. So the sea is a harsh mistress and a loving and a comforting sense of never-ending source of exploration and excitement. Lean in. Oh, I used that earlier. Find the wonder and the joy and the fear and So I put down the sea is a harsh mistress as well as a never-ending source of exploration and excitement. Find the wonder and the joy and the fear in all things in the environments you explore. Even the dangerous powers of the ocean are beautiful to behold, and even the most exotic and beautiful sea creatures might be deadly to the touch. Mighty and mystical sea. We'll go with that. Want to be noticed. In the world of piracy, your reputation is your greatest asset and ally. Use build your reputation as often as you can. Make others take notice of you, except while nipping a coin purse, of course. Be your best pitchman. Reputation is everything. In the world of piracy, your reputation is your greatest asset and ally. Build your reputation as often as you can. Make others take notice of you, except while nipping a coin purse, of course. Be your best pitch person. As your renown will follow you. All right, I kind of like those three. I think that fits the motif of what we're going for. I have kind of, I reserve the right to go backwards. I have kind of thought of a few things for classes, so I might come up with some class stuff here. Yeah, think I'm going to go back and do some class stuff here because I think that's about what I'm going to be comfortable working on to start. And I'll do another version, another version of this at another time. Forget that when I move stuff around, I'm moving it around for you all. I apologize ahead of time for that. All right, so classes. Let's see, go back to that. All right, I might do something for every class instead of doing none. So bards. Since renown is a major factor in this campaign frame, bards have a great power in their ability to promote themselves and others through songs, sea shanties, change this to, change this to performances. Through performances, sea shanties, nautical poems, and dueling dances abound. Again, I keep looking back to examples from their existing campaign frames just for inspiration of style, you know. They did. That's $5. Wither Wilds. Dueling dances abound. Depending on whom the bard is promoting, may decide their welcome at each port, tavern, or ship. I think that's good. I think that's good. Let's see who's next. Bard. Druid. Druids are highly sought after as members of a crew of a ship, as their abilities make them invaluable to a ship's crew. I'm just going to put a couple of question marks there. Might come back to that, but I definitely think that's something to explore. Again, I'm not necessarily looking to make more mechanics for anybody. I'm just trying to flavor it so that people might choose different classes, or when they choose different classes, they understand their role within the world a little bit better. I don't know that there's anything special about Guardians. Rangers. Rangers. I think we need to talk about animal companions. Finding the right flavor of companion to fit the nautical nature of the campaign should be a discussion with your GM. Not that that isn't already baked into the rules, but I think making it a point here makes sense. So. All right. I think rogues. No, I don't even think I'm going to say anything about rogues because I think it's pretty self-explanatory and not any different than what a rogue might choose to play their, how people might choose to play their rogues. I don't want to dictate how anyone plays their character, although I have ideas about that kind of thing in terms of the campaign frame. I don't want to do that because I want players to have the agency. I think I need to stick to how the world views these classes as I do this, which is kind of what I did about the bard, the druid, the rangers. On island explorations. All right. So, yeah, Seraph. I may come back to Seraph, Sorcerer, and Wizard. And Druid, Seraph, Sorcerer, and Wizard. Question marks if the magic system gets specific in terms of sources of power. Update this. And I'm gonna but I think I might not. We'll see. All right. I'm just going to highlight all of this as stuff to look at again. All right. This is a good start. Maybe it's not terror on the high seas. Maybe it's adventure on the high seas. Adventure on the high seas. Again, I'll leave these highlighted in case I come back. Because maybe my version of this is more terror and somebody else's is less, right? Maybe someone wants to use this to be, you know, a pirate themed, but they're all just out there collecting, you know, seashells, and there's really no, you know, terror, as it were. Who knows? All right. Let's see. I've got a couple more minutes I want to spend on this. So each campaign frame additionally is GM principles. Each campaign frame additionally has corresponding GM principles which supplement the core game principles. These to provide support and guidance for the GM to plan and facilitate a game in line with the design of the campaign frame. When creating these principles guide the GM toward the campaign's themes and encourage the kind of moves you want them to be making. All right. This I have some ideas on. So, piracy needs stuff to acquire. Be sure to tempt your players with treasure, loot, magic items, and renown. The focus every scene All right, the first GM principle. Piracy needs stuff to acquire. Be sure to tempt your players with treasure, loot, magic items, and renown. Every scene should have an element of something to gain, not only collectively, but personally if possible. Give them reasons to be pirates. The environments need to come alive. Make the environments wondrous, mysterious, and dangerous, and even literally have some come alive. The player or the characters should always be in a sense of wonder, or should ride the line All right, so I just did the environment needs to come alive. Make the environments wondrous, mysterious, and dangerous, and even literally have some come alive. The characters should ride the line of wonder and fear as they approach each new environment. Adversaries can be terrorizingly beautiful and beautifully terrorizing. My next one I'm going to do is pirate life is bigger than normal life. If the life of adventurers is large, then pirate life needs to be huge. Reactions are bigger. Emotions are bigger. Reactions are bigger. Emotions are bigger. Stakes are bigger. Make them that's said enough. All right. Pirate life is bigger than normal. If the life of adventurers is large, then pirate life needs to be huge. Reactions are bigger, emotions are bigger, stakes are bigger. I think that's great. I think there's a huge. It just needs to be big and epic. I think that's a good principle for this. And I think I'll stop at these three, although I will put a question mark here if I want more, because again, as I do mechanic stuff down here later on, I think that will come to be what we want. But I've been going for about an hour and a half now, so I'm going to take a break at this. I might come back on later today or tonight to continue working on this, but being able to talk through it, even if nobody's there listening, I know there's maybe one or two of you here earlier, but it just gives me a kind of a focus and lets me kind of think about it and learn about it. I want to give a shout out to Mike Underwood, who is one of the additional designers on Daggerheart, who started doing streams much like this one I'm just doing right now, and kind of talking through how to do this kind of stuff, which gave me the kind of the inspiration and the backing that I need, foundation I needed to try to do this on stream and use that as a kind of a writing prompt. Those of you that watch our stream know that Brandy is an author. She does a lot of like co-writing with people. She'll hop online. There's an entire community that does this with her, and she'll hop online and they'll kind of keep each other motivated to write. And I'm kind of using this as a motivation. So hopefully it's been something you're willing to watch, or if not, it's at least a tool for me to use. So catch us this week. Monday night we have our Zeros to Heroes stream, our D&D narrative game run by our buddy Jack on Monday night. It's a hoot. It's 7 p.m. Central. And then same time, 7 p.m. Central on Tuesday night, we're doing our weekly one-shot of Author Adventures, which is taking indie authors with characters from their stories, having them create those characters as D&D characters and running them through a one-shot together. So that should be exciting. This is the second time we're doing that, and that's probably going to become a regular series. We've already lined up authors for September to do another one. But that'll be Tuesday night, and then of course Friday night will be our Twist of Fate campaign, running through Turn of Fortune's Wheel from Planescape with Book of Many Things content thrown in, and playing through Vecna Eve of Ruin, which is part of where we're on now in the campaign. So check us out. Please come join us on our Discord. All of our weekly one-shots that we put up, we are doing it community-based. We're trying to get more people involved and find other people who want to stream with us. Come join our stream and play a one-shot with us. Or if you have an idea you want to try to stream a one-shot of, hit us up and we might be happy to host that. So come join us on our Discord if you're interested in that. We are Dicey Decisions, and I'll see you soon. Take care.